One of the challenges that we are facing as a county and as a nation is youth mental health. Our students and our young people are hurting. And our next speakers, Dr. Steve Adelsheim and Christine Zhao, are going to tell us how they are making a difference in the youth mental health space. Let's give it up for our next speakers.
All right. Tim, let me just say as we're getting started, our goal is to be like your mom and to help build resiliency and support resiliency in all the youth here and everywhere we can. My name's Steve Adelsheim. I'm a child psychiatrist. I'm the director of the Stanford Center for Youth Mental Health and Wellbeing. And beside me is...
Hi everyone, I'm Christine. I'm a current high school junior and I'm a part of the San Mateo Alcove YAG, or Youth Advisory Group.
All right. We want to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. I want to first acknowledge my colleague and good friend, Sherry Sager, for her wonderful support of all of our efforts. Sherry, you've been an amazing advocate for youth mental health. We're really grateful for your wisdom and your guidance in helping us develop mental health supports for young people and families locally, across the state, and across the nation as a whole. Thank you so much. I want to make 3 points before I hand things over to Christine, our wonderful allcove San Mateo Youth Advisory Group member, so she can tell you the real reasons why allcove centers are so important. The first point is an area where we need your help, addressing mental health stigma, which some people also call mental health discrimination. While the discussion of the youth mental health crisis is currently a hot topic around the country, those of us in the field knew we had a crisis in youth mental health a long time ago. While mental health issues are present in all of our families, I can ask here who has high blood pressure or who has diabetes, but I cannot ask you to raise your hand if in fact you have a mental illness. But please raise your hand now if someone in your family within one generation has a mental health issue. Right, thank you. It's all of us. We're very good now at quoting the data that says that half of all mental health issues start by the age of 14, but we have yet to create the systems we need for young people to access the early mental health care that they need. And as you can see from the graph above, the most common health concerns of young people between the ages of 10 and 30 are mental health related issues. All of us are facing these issues in our families, and all of us must advocate together to get equitable resources to expand access to mental health care for all of our young people. Second point, why allcove programs? We know that early intervention works just as well for mental health as it does for any other medical issue. Even for people with early warning signs of psychotic illness, early treatment can prevent or delay the onset of a first episode of psychosis. And we know that the shorter the time from onset of psychosis to treatment has a huge impact even 10 or 15 years later. Before I worked in early psychosis programs, I spent many years doing school mental health work in school-based health centers. I appreciate school-based health centers because they are places with co-located primary care and mental health services, creating a waiting room that is not just like a mental health clinic. Often young people are more comfortable coming in initially for a physical complaint which emerges into an underlying mental health issue by the second or third visit. Then it is an easy, warm handoff across the hall to the mental health provider. Working in school-based health centers, allowed me to meet with young people when problems were just beginning and access was easy. I was able to support young people with early signs of depression or anxiety before symptoms became severe. I was also able to identify students with more severe symptoms early, such as the 6th grade student who was having conversations with the skeleton in the back of his classroom for a long time before anyone realized he wasn't just talking to himself. But school mental health has issues too. Some students are afraid the information they share will get to their parents without their consent. And others don't want to share their mental health issues with the person who is writing their letter for college. Some students get suspended or expelled. Others drop out, and there are summer vacations. And then there was the time the principal kicked me out of a school for advocating too adamantly for special ed supports for a student with whom I was working. About 11 years ago, I began to search for other places in the community, in addition to schools and early psychosis programs, to help young people get support. I learned about this program called Headspace in Australia, which provides standalone clinics for young people 12 to 25 to come in on their own or with a friend for early mental health care. Headspace centers also have primary care, supported education, employment, early substance use treatment, and peer support. Headspace was having great success with young people and their families, and now number 150 centers across Australia, a country half the population of California. And they have active youth advisory groups to help guide the services and staff, ensuring the centers meet the needs of local youth. Headspace became the core model for our allcove centers, and have led to similar models like Jigsaw in Ireland, Foundry in British Columbia, and other programs across the world. After a feasibility study, county supervisor support, county behavioral health leadership, and major community commitment, after several youth mental health crises, we were able to open the first allcove centers in Santa Clara County in June of 2021. We are on our way now to opening 5 centers across the state, with the next one in San Mateo, hopefully opening before the end of the year. The state will soon be providing additional funding to open 5 more, and we are hoping one will be coastside, where I live, because the mental health needs of young people over the hill are currently critical. We are excited to be creating this continuum of early mental health care by supporting allcove development centers and linking them to both school mental health and early psychosis programs, which takes me to my 3rd point, the importance of listening to our young people. Each allcove center has a youth advisory group, or YAG, that is made up of local young people that reflect the diversity of each community. Our original YAG selected the name allcove, developed the space design, and made decisions about allcove core services. The current YAGs guide each center through planning to opening with their local youth leaders and with the central allcove team support. YAG participation has even become a pathway to leadership and career development. Many former YAG members have gone into health careers, some becoming peer specialists in allcove programs. Our youth are wise. We need to listen to them. We need to learn from them and have them guide the services and programs meant for them. So let's now hear from Christine from the allcove San Mateo YAG.
Thank you for the introduction, Steve. I'm very honored and excited to be sharing my story. It was at the beginning of sophomore year when we first transitioned out of hybrid school. I was going through a really rocky period in my life. I realized I needed help, but the fear of judgment and invalidation hindered me from reaching out. I thought that my issues weren't big enough to warrant support. I thought maybe if I ignored it, it would go away. It didn't. I mustered up the courage to ask for therapy eventually, but it needed to get to a really low point for my parents to understand the need. And it took a few more months after that to book my first therapy appointment. We were met with a mixture of overbooked therapists, insurance troubles, and incompatibility with school. In the midst of this, I discovered allcove. My friend, who had seen me struggle increasingly, had seen an allcove booth at the local Palo Alto Public Library. She knew that I needed help, so when she told me about it, it seemed too good to be true. Somewhere judgment-free, cost-free, and parent-free. I began looking more into allcove, and the more I learned about it, the more I became excited about this model of mental health care. I thought, if I had known about it and accessed it sooner, my mental health wouldn't have reached such a low point. I saw the need for it in my community too. My school has an overwhelming need for more counselors. There's one counselor available for just under 500 people. It's difficult to get an appointment, and even if you get an appointment, you worry about how confidential it is to other members of the school community. allcove offers a space away from school that allows you to access these services with a lot more trust and comfort. Coming out of the pandemic, I've also witnessed the rapid decline of some of my other friends' mental health, and I felt powerless. I wish I could have been able to say, I know a place where you can get help. It's a mental health center designed by youth for youth, and it acknowledges that you deserve support no matter where you are on the mental health continuum. Now I can. Youth voice is really crucial in allcove's development because as much as we appreciate the support from adult allies, there are some things that they miss when they design something for a different audience. allcove allows the youth being served to provide input on everything, ranging from its name to its interior design to its service streams. Local YAG, or youth advisory groups, representative of diverse communities, also allow us to design centers unique to local and diverse needs. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to mental health. So many problems plague youth today, and allcove addresses some of these through its other service streams. In addition to mental health, there are also physical health, education and employment, substance use, and family support services. These integrated services also serve as an introduction to other streams, destigmatizing and normalizing the act of seeking for help. Seeing other young people at allcove also shows them that they are not alone. During the spring of last year, I joined the allcove San Mateo Youth Advisory Group. We've been working on a variety of projects, including interior design, and most recently, planning the opening of our very own center here in San Mateo. Even the selection of this location involved youth. By design, it's located near the Caltrain to allow students from all over the Bay Area to access it. Even from every aspect of our center is designed intentionally, from the colorful furniture, which makes it seem less like a clinical setting, to the moment of pause, which invites youth to center themselves before seeking emotionally intense services. allcove is an embodiment of what we envision for youth. Not only do I feel a sense of agency in creating something that so many other youth will be able to benefit from, I have also found such solidarity with my peers on the allcove YAG. I've met so many amazing people through the YAG, and we are all bonded by the passion for mental health advocacy. I feel very lucky to be able to work on something like this for other youth. My hope is that every youth feels empowered to seek out the support they need, and especially early on, because before it requires more intense forms of treatment. allcove brings us one step closer to that goal. Thank you.
Thank you.